Mcluvin News stating here that after November 6th, all of MAGA fell silent. It's an eerie silence. Remember that in the annals of history. Okay? They all went silent. And don't tell me MAGA is not just a unity of a separation between the two parties of the Democrat and the Republicans and Democrats. Okay? Don't tell me that you can try to tell me what the truth is. I know what the truth is. MAGA just took out the Republican equality of the two-party system. The Republicans, we better pray, are not gone, because that insurrection that people like to talk about so often and misuse and misinterpret, that wasn't back. That was just the step of the beginning back in 2020, okay? That wasn't a full-blown insurrection. You know what the insurrection was? The full completion of it? MAGA just made that official. And those who voted for Donald Trump, the felon, 34 count, who cares, right? They said, who cares? No, here's the real truth. The truth is MAGA does stand for hate. MAGA is a cult. If you don't vote with MAGA, if you're not with MAGA, if you're not with the whole Make America Great Again, and let's stop and think about that. How do we make America great again when America has never been anything less than a full unity of separate, unique, divided people of different ethnicities, from indigenous, low income, to wealthy, to empowered? Not to mention that we are actually represented by oligarchs, capitalism. That's the true core. That's the real engine. What is this fictitious fantasy dream that MAGA thinks they've accomplished? We are watching them. The dumpster fire's out. We're all watching them. And remember something, once again, we hold them to the fire because we're not going to let our good Americans get burned. The good solid 70 plus million. That's not the 74 million that voted for the felon, the 34 count felon, that we now have to watch and hope that isn't going to turn this country into a divided nation, because there was always division. There was always hate in this country. Donald Trump did not start these things. But I'll tell you one thing. MAGA, that's the true ugly rearing disease. And I call it what it is. Root and stem. We got to vote it out, clear it out, get rid of it once and for all. That's the calm clarity that we need to rest our souls and our hearts in. Unite together. Support independent news sources spreading the truth. Support our local media. Support our journalists. I stand there proudly with you guys, fighting this good fight. There's going to be some dark rhetoric ahead. There's going to be some dark times ahead. We got to remember our true people that we got to be most cautious and most warned about. Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's a part of that MAGA cult. And in fact, her name, Marjorie Taylor Greene, practically says it within itself. Make America great again? Yeah, again, what's that thing about making America great again when America is already a wonderful and beautiful and tainted historical nation, filled with the history and the documented annals that prove how great we are? We don't need to remake something great when it's already great. But in its own history, what makes it great is the imperfections. It is the overcomings, the shortcomings, the dark set history that proves we have so much more to strive toward. And it seems nobody wants to do it. I'm going to do something about it. Are you? Because we can make a difference. We don't need the rich and the powerful and the elite. They can keep doing what they've been always doing. They're not the total, complete enemy here. The real enemy are those who seek to divide us on the hate that MAGA stands for. And MAGA will defy the fact they're not a hateful place of people. They're not a hateful group of people. They're not a cult. That's a lie. Donald Trump may not be solely bound by MAGA because he is himself. Do you think he really loves MAGA that much, or just the saying and statement and pretending like he's behind MAGA? He's got other motives and goals. They're all for himself. And all of his advisors and people behind him, that's the real core ugly truth. MAGA is the greatest threat to democracy, the foundation principles of our votes as Americans, than anything else in the annals of history. Fascism is spread. The wildfire has spread. The dumpster fire is spread. We know who the real problem is. And I ask more people to share and understand the value of this message. Don't give up hope. Fight. Keep it strong. Again, MAGA is a cult. If you're not with them, if you don't side with them, apparently you're against the Lord, you're against Christ, you're against Jesus, you're not a true American, you're not a true patriot. You know how many times MAGA has disowned the fact of dystopian type rhetoric that pushes out the rhetoric of proud Americans, proud everyday Americans that serve and fight for our country, veterans, women and men, different ethnicities. There's a lot of subtle white nationalism, hate, and division. That's all they aim to spread, because if you're not with them, you're against them. And that's some real dark rhetoric that can be related to, essentially, cults, groups, Star Wars references to the Order 66, where the Jedi were taken out by essentially the internal galactic powers of Senator Palpatine and Anakin, who was turned to the dark side. There's a lot of that rhetoric going on, but remember something, there's more of us than there are of them. If we're the separatists in the galaxy, of the good and the people fighting back from all the future Star Wars movies that take place later in the future, you got to think about one thing. We don't give the same credit to those people who put disowning characteristics to beautiful, beloved movies and classics. If you're going to give any comparison to these people, it's to get them out. That's what we got to do. Vote them out, clear them out, purge them out. No violence, no hate. We don't fight hate with hate. We use love and compassion and strength through the power of our voices and our efforts and our fighting to expose the truth. That's the power and the truth that we hold in America. If you're with me, I ask you to follow with me and keep following with me. Proudly, Mcluvin News. Thank you for watching.